Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today the Oracle speaks on Moon Token. The Oracle has been asked to go and have a look at Moon Token and see what he thinks the short, medium, and long-term targets should be for Moon. Now, we are not just pretty faces on Crypto Warehouse. The Oracle and myself make videos every day, every week about Moon, Wolfswap, and other projects on Kronos Chain. So make sure to give us and Wolfswap a follow. Now, the video is fairly lengthy, so please stick to the end. You're going to get 12 minutes of pure TA and source from the Oracle. Over to you, Brogan.
Thanks, Mike. Only got 5 minutes, so let's get straight into it. Currently on the daily right now, I've hidden all the other ranges, so there's no clutter on the screen. I'm gonna quickly go over some, basics that we have currently for Moon. I'm gonna go over some high time frames and some low time frames. So let's get into it. I'll go to the 4 hour quickly. We can see, what sort of situation we're in right now. Kind of hovering in between this current range. In between 4374 and down here towards the equilibrium at 3341 area. Obviously, this spans back towards 19th September time. So stuck in a decent range so far. Obviously, I've got reasons for this. Let's go back to the daily and I can tell you exactly why. So these green areas, these are breaker blocks, okay? These are going to be areas which we're going to have support and resistance at the same time. So currently you can see, if I highlight this one with the pen tool, change it to purple, you can see this one we have currently. Let me delete that. There we go. This one we have currently. We formed it and then flipped it immediately, used it support, and then support again, flipped it, and now resistance. So we're going to be flipping this pretty soon because, again, it is a breaker block. It is not in the area to be order blocks. So we have to use it as resistance, as it is an order block, but we are eventually going to flip this. So what I reckon can happen, let me also hide this blue area because it is a bit messy so far. So these red areas are equilibriums as well on the lower time frames. But I will go on to the higher time frame equilibriums and other things we have. So we also have this equilibrium. Oh, this is equilibrium, this is breaker block, and then this is a fair value gap as well, just to highlight. So we've got a decent area of things below us as well to have as good areas of support. So you can see with this one, it is a negative order block to be used as resistance. You can see we formed it, flipped it, and then we came back to it with this wick right here. And you can see pretty much exactly we wicked to the midpoint of it and used it as support. So we have great support there, in the 3116 area, coming up towards about 32, all the way down to about 3. Also, this, fair value gap hasn't been filled yet. So even this is a theoretical as well. If we were to come down to this area, we have great support down here and great areas to come to, which will flip our price to go all the way back up to where we are currently. So I'm pretty confident we're going to be staying above this area. And not only that, we have this equilibrium here. So, if I was to unhide the range, you can see this area is equilibrium. And multiple times over, we came to this area and bounced. You can see this area we came down. If I zoom out a bit, you can see, formed it, bounced. Only other time we flipped below, bounced down here. And then, obviously, in the area we're in right now, we are bouncing again. You can see. So we've got good bounces. And the only other time we came really below this main area at 3222 was a wick towards 31. So other than that, apart from this area where we formed great support below equilibrium, we haven't come below. So I think 3284, 333, whatever this like area is for the equilibrium, is a crucial area of support. This is like the pit of great support. It's like concrete, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I'm not saying we haven't had situations where we've come below. But if we were to have that situation, it would more so be a wick and a short period of time below rather than anything else. Coming into where we are right now with this green one, as I was saying, we're going to be having a flip of this. You can see it. Obviously, there's a lot of wicks with these candles because obviously it's a quite active coin in terms of the way it moves. But if we just look at the candle bodies, we can see we formed it, found resistance at this top line up here, which is also highs and lows of equilibriums, which I'll get onto in a second, or highs and lows of ranges, sorry. So you can see, came up to this area, came down to the midpoint, found resistance at the equilibrium as we flipped it, came to the midpoint again, obviously found resistance within the equilibrium, within the breaker block, and then where we flipped it and used it as resistance, but coming to equilibrium as support. So a good structure so far. It's been really good price action. It's made sense in terms of our, what we've done, exactly. It's not really been weird TA or anything like that. But again, in nature, this is breaker block. It's not really going to be held as order block, which is resistance. So I don't think we're going to be holding this 36, basically 3600 line. I don't think we'll be holding this as resistance. I think we are going to flip this. So in terms of, down here, this is just a cushion we have, which we've come to many times before, and came up, surged all the way back upwards once we've reached this area. So I do think we are going to be coming up, after this area, we're going to be coming up above 3.6 and onwards. We do have this next equilibrium, but also these black lines, these are the highs and lows of the dealing ranges. So if I go to bring the range back up again, you can see these orange lines are each and every one of these black lines, which are also important areas. If you look at it on the surface level, you've got the equilibrium and then the orange lines. It's all that all you really need to know. So yeah, we are going to have resistance there, but it's not anything too drastic because obviously if you are someone who watches my streams, also shout out to the streams. The purple lines are very important as well, which we haven't touched yet, so it's fine. We are going to see resistance there. As you can see, we have a wick there, but I don't think it's going to be anything substantial. We're going to continue onwards. We do have this orange line, which is actually an order block formed. Now, we have had multiple areas in this range, which have had previous order blocks, which have been flipped fine. So I don't think it's going to be a long-term resistance at 4224, which obviously we do have a wick at. I just wanted to, show it there that we probably will see resistance in this area over here, but nothing too, permanent. And that's pretty much it in that regard. I'm going to open up the higher equilibriums and go a bit higher on the range. So we can see, it's still, it's still on the daily, so we can see. So this blue area is a range upwards, showing more of an equilibrium. So this shows basically more range where we have equilibriums at. So it's only this range and the range above. So mainly here. And this is why the area we're at right now, this is why it's so strong. This is why we have so much great support at this area. You can see, wick to the midpoint, bounce here, obviously flip, we hardly flipped it, bounce off in this wick, bounce multiple times here, bounce here as well. So we've had multiple bounces off this area. The only time we came below properly is forming more support before we came back upwards. So again, like I said, reiterate my same point I've just made. This is great support area. This is really, really good. So, in between 3284, coming all the way up to about 3475, basically where we are right now. We're kind of just fighting to get back above. Not much of a fight. I don't think we're going to spend too much time down here, but just saying anyways, I think we are going to be coming back above this. Secondary point as well is this equilibrium up here, which we haven't come to as many times before, but obviously, we have formed it. Obviously we did flip it, and then flipped it again, resistance, came to it nearly here, resistance again. So we are going to have resistance there, but the thing I'm about to go on to in a second will hopefully change that. So let's go into here and let's show this. So this is a higher range. I can probably show the range actually. We have this of importance. So again, these ranges can cascade upwards. So this is this is on the weekly. Again, this is really kind of YTA, to be fair, but obviously, it's needed. We do have this area, which is breaker block area, which again, as I just explained, is the opposite of an order block. So you can see this is a negative order block, which we have come to once. You can see we formed it and it found resistance, and then we come down again. So on the wide, time frame of things, on the wide scale, we have, formed it and used it once as resistance, which is good. So we've formed the order block and confirmed it as resistance. But what happens after that is you flip it, confirm it as support, and then continue onwards. So what I'm hoping for, and this continues onto a wide time frame. Obviously, this is the weekly, so it's gonna take a long time to happen. But I'm just, I just want to show it on this video. So obviously, not only do we have 8066 also coming up to here. This is gonna be great resistance. This is gonna be quite hard to get back above, or not back above, but get above in the first place. Also, I wanted to show this as well. Really great form of equilibrium back up here. But anyway. This is breaker block. Obviously, breaker block, you form your order block, use it as resistance, and you flip it, and you use it as support, and continue onwards. In the case of a negative order block, that is. So that's what we have exactly here right now. So, in theory, obviously, this is a rough movement-based thing. We have order block, we test it as resistance, we're going to flip it, use it as support, and then continue onwards. Obviously, we're going to have a difficulty at this equilibrium, so that is something we get to when we get there. But currently, as we see it, we have this breaker block of pretty big difficulty, which we've already seen once. But again, now that we've seen it, it is going to be a good chance for us to get above it. So long term, I'm looking to see 6245 as support, just arbitrarily. But let's go back to where we are right now to finish it off. If we zoom back in and then hide all this mess we have. So yeah, going back to my point, I do think we are going to be seeing support here and continuing onwards, back upwards. Let me find the rectangle I just had. There it is. So, we do have this breaker block. We are going to be flipping this. So I think what we have so far, as we found resistance at this top line, coming back down, forming that order block as well. I think we are going to be coming back above from this equilibrium. I'll be quite surprised if we find ourselves coming below this equilibrium and finding resistance, because we've only had that once before and it hasn't been for a very long period of time. So I do think we are going to be having a bounce from here, finding support here, coming up to this equilibrium, eventually flipping this. But as the market continues to rise and we continue onwards, I am expecting a bit of a surpass of this area upwards and and onwards. But as I see it right now, this is the daily as well, so this is going to take a long time to come through. This isn't so much going to happen in the next 2 days. This will take a long period of time to happen. I think we are going to be on the incline for Moon. So thank you for listening and watching the TA. I'm going to take it back to Mike now. Shout out to the streams. Obviously, if you're someone who's not familiar, come on to Scripts Warehouse on YouTube. I've got live streams there, Mondays and Fridays. We do TA streams. So anyway, back to Mike.
So there we have it. 12 minutes of source on Moon Token. What more could you ask for? We will try and do one of these every month and keep you up to date on the price of Moon and where we think it can go. Remember, we are 12 months, hopefully, from the end of the bull run. Moon has to be in your bags. Make sure to head over to Wolfswap and get yourself a bag today. I have been Mike. You have been great. See you soon.